Okay, so we're diving deep today into emotional intelligence.
EQ, yeah.
Yeah, you sent over this podcast intro about EQ, and I got to say it got me thinking.
Yeah.
Let's break this down.
Okay, love it.
They define EQ as the ability to understand, manage, and express your emotions effectively while also empathizing with others.
Right.
Which is a mouthful.
It is a lot, yeah.
And definitions, sometimes they're helpful, but
Yeah.
how does this actually, play out in our lives? What does this look like?
I totally agree. Definitions are only so good.
Right.
I think it's more helpful to think about, how can you use this information about yourself and your emotions to navigate your inner world, but also how you interact with other people.
Yeah.
So, imagine you're in a really tense meeting at work.
Oh, yeah.
And a colleague just totally shoots down your idea.
Oof, I've been there.
Yeah.
Happens to the best of us.
Exactly. And having high EQ in that moment isn't just about going, oh, I'm frustrated. It's about, okay, what am I going to do with this frustration? How can I channel that energy constructively?
Right.
So maybe instead of getting defensive, you ask some clarifying questions.
Right. Yeah, turn it around into something positive.
Exactly.
Instead of just shutting down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the podcast intro talked about the 4 main components of EQ, self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, and social skills.
Yeah.
And it makes you realize they're all
connected.
Yeah, they all play off of each other.
Totally. And they really do build upon each other.
Yeah.
You can't regulate your emotions if you don't even know what they are in the first place.
You gotta have that foundation.
Yeah, and empathy too, really getting where someone else is coming from. That takes self-awareness, but also this ability to kind of step outside of
your own head.
Exactly.
Yeah, that empathy piece, that's always been the most fascinating to me. Because it's so easy to just tell people, be more empathetic.
Yeah.
But how do you actually do that?
Yeah.
What are some things people can do to actually cultivate that?
It's definitely something you have to practice. And one technique I find really helpful is what's called perspective taking.
Okay.
So before you react to someone, especially when things are kind of heated.
Yeah, when you're about to blow up.
Right. Try to step into their shoes for a second, what could be influencing their behavior? What are they going through? You don't have to agree with them.
Right.
But just trying to understand their perspective can make a huge difference in how you respond.
It takes the emotion out of it.
It can, yeah.
Yeah, that's great advice. Something to really work on.
For sure.
The podcast intro also talked about all the benefits of having strong EQ.
Yeah.
Personally and professionally. I'm curious, beyond, just general well-being, how have you seen EQ make a difference in the workplace specifically?
Oh, tons of ways. Studies actually show that people with higher EQ tend to be more effective leaders.
Really?
Yeah, they can build stronger teams. They're better at resolving conflicts.
Interesting.
They're really good at motivating others. And they're often just better communicators, which is essential in any job, really.
It's true.
It doesn't matter what you do.
Right. And speaking of work, I was just reading this article the other day about how emotional intelligence is a key player in navigating all those
oh yeah,
tricky workplace dynamics.
Yeah.
Knowing when to speak up, when to listen, how to handle all those office conflicts that come up.
Oh, totally. It's not just about being nice.
Right.
It's about using your understanding of emotions to create a work environment that's more productive and positive for everyone.
And less stressful.
For sure.
Now, the podcast intro was really careful to make this distinction between EQ and IQ.
Yeah.
Why do you think that's so important?
Well, for a long time, IQ was the measure of intelligence.
It was everything.
Right. And it led to this very narrow view of human potential. IQ measures your cognitive abilities, which are important, but it doesn't capture the whole picture. We know now that emotional intelligence, it's just as important, if not more so.
Yeah.
For success and well-being in so many areas of life.
Totally. And, it's encouraging to know that unlike IQ, which is pretty much fixed EQ, EQ is something you can develop.
Exactly.
Like a muscle you can strengthen over time if you put in the work.
Exactly. And there are so many resources out there nowadays.
There are.
Books, workshops, even apps to help you build your EQ.
It's true.
Yeah.
So basically, EQ is about understanding and managing emotions, both our own and other people's. And it's a really powerful tool for building relationships, for doing well at work.
Yeah.
And just creating a more fulfilling life overall.
Well said. I think the key takeaway here is that becoming more emotionally intelligent, it's a journey. It's not like you just get there. It's about continuous learning, self-reflection, and this willingness to grow.
I love that. All right. So one final thought for our listeners.
Okay.
Think about one area in your life where you'd like to see some positive change.
Yeah.
How could focusing on one specific element of EQ,
Okay.
like maybe your self-awareness, your communication style, your empathy, how could that help you make that shift?
That's a great question.
The possibilities are endless.
They are.